Welcome to the One Harvest Podcast. We got Aaron, Kyle, and myself as the host. We got Ian in the back on the sound. And we also have a special guest today. Her name is Adina. She is a cannabis activist and a local in Santa Rosa, California. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here today.
How's life? How's the journey of an activist these days?
Depends who you ask.
Facts.
Okay. You and I have spoke about the grants that are happening in cannabis in Sonoma County. We can also go over how you got to be an activist.
For sure. Yeah, that's a great question. And I have a lot of issues with the monopoly on the industry locally and at the state level. I think that it's a very common issue no matter what county you're in. I work with growers between here and Sonoma all the way out to Humboldt and Mendocino, and it's the same thing in every single vicinity. That being said, recently within the past year, the County of Sonoma launched a cannabis equity program, which they were claiming this was for people who were charged with nonviolent crimes prior to the legalization of the industry to apply, and specifically for marginalized communities. And so that turned out to not be the case.
Yeah.
What'd you end up digging up?
All right. So
Let's get into
what's
it.
the tea?
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is why we have her on the show, because the interest
She knows.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely did your research. I was excited that you reached out and wanted to be a part of this. So, yeah, give it to us. Rip it away.
Let them have it.
Yeah. For sure. That being said, there, at least for is a local
dispensary, right?
dispensary
yeah, they got
here.
3 of them, I think, or 2 of them.
4.
4?
They got 4.
In Santa Rosa?
Yeah,
just
various
Sonoma County,
locations.
yeah.
Sonoma County,
Yeah, throughout Sonoma County. You can apply as an individual for these equity grants. So the applications essentially mirrored each other for all 4 applicants. And so that does seem like a monopoly, in my opinion. So when we're claiming that these grants are equitable and serving marginalized communities, ironically, the majority of the applicants were white, which I don't have an issue with at all. I don't think that these programs should be race-based, but let's call them what they are. And so the reason that they're coming up with all these equity programs is because at the federal level and at the state level, the language that is being pushed through legislature allows them to capitalize on those funds. So they don't actually want anything to be equitable. That is not the goal.
It's just a front.
It's a front, 100%.
How are they getting money from the feds?
Sorry, for this particular grant, for equity throughout the county, in other areas it's federal. For this particular program, this is state-based because it's still illegal at the federal level.
Yeah.
But I've noticed the same pattern, as at least with the equity office, that they claim in every single circumstance that they are making these programs equitable. But even if they do give those funds per se, whether that's rental assistance or what have you in another area for equity, those funds are going to the same families over and over. You'll see the same names pop up.
Wow.
And there's no outreach into the community, especially in these marginalized groups, to teach them about these processes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
they
crazy.
It's like
I
they
mean,
say one thing and then they twist it.
It sounds like they're just trying to set up the same people over and over again to be successful, continue on moving money
But then
and getting
don't make
money.
it seem that way.
No, they try to make it sound equal.
Shady.
But
Well, there's no
as
cap
Adina
on
is
how
finding
many
out,
different...
it ain't equal.
Yeah.
Not at all. What's funny for them applying for equity grants is that they run an equity program
Themselves?
So
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
a little bit of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And the other monopoly that they have, I didn't realize that our supervisor, specifically Sonoma County Supervisor James Gore, his sister-in-law Erin Gore was the co-owner of this location in Healdsburg. And Supervisor Gore at that level of government is pushing through all of these programs and driving what he can until it gets into the hand of the administrative offices because he has a monopoly on the industry. She is currently under investigation with the Fair Political Practices Commission, as is he. And that was because I reported them, at least Gore I reported about 2 years ago, and I reported Aaron. To backtrack a little bit, the Fair Political Practices Commission is a state agency that is supposed to have financial oversight. All of our elected officials and appointed officers, they have to submit what's called a statement of economic interest to disclose their income, their investments, and their real property that they have a financial interest, so there's no conflicts of interest when they're approving programs of these sort.
That makes sense.
And so with Erin, the reason that she came up as a red flag for me was when I looked at her form, she owns a cannabis company by the name of Garden Society. She put in the description that they are a female product education company. And then her, I believe it's the edibles division, which is Gourmet Bites, she described it as a payroll company. And so that didn't accurately reflect her line of business. And the only reason I was able to request those records is because her brother-in-law, James Gore, appointed her to a healthcare district board. And so that's a conflict in itself. But with the nepotism and then her non-transparency on her forms, now I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's more. Wow. That's crazy.
I didn't even know they were applying for the Hillsburg location.
I thought it was just Soulful and Jane.
I think it's just Soulful and Jane.
Oh.
Yeah.
I believe some of the other dispensaries actually filed a suit because they felt there was favoritism, ironically. And
Big surprise.
Big surprise.
Big surprise.
Yeah.
How crazy.
Interesting. We also spoke a little bit about the water rights, the dam in Potter Valley. We also have a lot of farmers out there that are in the cannabis industry, grow phenomenal product. And you brought up to me that they're taking the dam away?
yes, so this is not a well-known issue, and it's a huge issue. So there's been a project, the inception was in 2018, called the Potter Valley Project. And essentially they've been going back and forth with PG&E to decide whether we decommission the dam in Potter Valley. The reason this is so critical is there are about 6 different counties that rely on those diversions for their water. 26 billion gallons of water.
Insane.
So
Which California needs.
exactly,
Yeah.
especially
We
during
need it.
fires.
Every drop.
Yeah.
So now once that dam is removed, we will lose those diversions, and that has been put forth. It's going to cost taxpayers around $500,000 just to remove the dam itself. And there are a multitude of issues with that, because if we lose out on those diversions, how is that going to affect the agricultural industry and the cannabis grows, the wine growers who is fitting under that umbrella? But basically, I, as an activist, I don't have a political preference, but I am working with candidates locally. We have Chris Cullum, who's running for Congress based out of Sebastopol. He does work in the cannabis industry, or at least he has in the past as a consultant, and so he's aware of how critical that issue is. I also have our assembly candidate locally, and his district is between here and Sonoma all the way out to the Oregon border. And so those 2 candidates have been speaking up about this issue, and Mr. Greer will actually hopefully be joining me at Hall of Flowers next weekend as a Republican. So
Nice. You're going to Hall of Flowers.
yes,
Cool.
Awesome.
Right on.
yeah,
We'll
I'll
see
be
you there.
my first time there, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Let's talk about this water. And you were present during that conference, right? What was going on? What was happening? This lady was saying some crazy stuff. Do you want to mention that? You don't have to. if you
No,
don't.
I'd
We
love
can-
to.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she despises me, that woman. But
That woman.
there's a woman by the name of Teef Gibbs who ran for Congress in the primary as a Republican candidate. And I didn't like the fact that she was bashing her opponent, Mr. Cullum, who is a veteran, 16-year veteran, and that just didn't sit well with me for somebody who's trying to bring transparency to our community about this water issue. So when I was trying to explain to her why this is so critical, she actually told me, which went viral on TikTok, over 1 million views, by the way, but she said it's just one lake. And it's just one
on.
lake.
Wow.
Just
crazy.
one
That's
lake,
wild.
Yeah, so homegirl didn't understand that with the
She's not thinking like
diversion.
The impact
Yes.
that
Yeah.
one lake has.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially in
crazy.
Mendocino, that's a lot of agriculture going on there, a lot of growth of food, grapes and cannabis like we spoke about. So for her to just say that, that's, yeah, I don't know. She
That's
ain't,
wild.
is she from here?
I
You don't
don't
know?
care to
Pro-
know.
Yeah.
But
Sounds like she ain't.
she's not well liked. I can tell
Yeah.
you that the Marin Republican women who I'm always the youngest, and they're about in their average age of 70s. They started a whole new club just because they didn't want to have a club with her in it anymore.
Wow.
That says something.
Yeah.
Speaks
Says
for
a
itself.
lot.
Yeah. See ya.
It's
So,
wild.
so as an activist, what else have you dug up in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, in the cannabis industry, the issues and the corruption are far-reaching. I know out in Mendocino, I had a whole group of people that I was working with because they're only approving about 1% of applicants for permits, and that's insane. Of course,
That makes sense.
we
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
And the other issue that I'm seeing not only in Sonoma but out in Mendo and Humboldt as well is that they are targeting people with code enforcement and choosing, flying drones illegally to look over people's grows or
Wow.
making allegations that aren't necessarily true. And it's somewhat like a hit mob when the county wants you essentially to seize your property or go after you. It's your word against theirs. And I have a couple dozen growers that I've been working with who have been targeted, and they're telling them, hey, you owe $1 million in fees or we're going to take your property.
Wow.
And so they're specifically picking and choosing who they go after, and that really needs to be addressed.
It's a strategy for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gross.
What do you think about these fires that are randomly starting and happening?
I think they're a moneymaker for sure. So as far as the validity of the fires, I can't speak to that. But what I can tell you, because they just got a shout out in the Press Democrat today, is that with the fires, at least following the Tubbs fire in 2017, there was a nonprofit launched by the name of Rebuild North Bay. That nonprofit was launched by Darius Anderson, who is the owner of the Press Democrat, and Sonoma Media Investments, which they have under their umbrella La Prensa, what else? Sonoma Gazette, pretty much all of the major papers within our counties. He established this nonprofit, and he put Supervisor Gore's wife, Elizabeth Gore, as the president. And so they claimed they were a 501c3, that they were going to go ahead and advocate and help the fire victims. So what they actually did is they got $2 million from PG&E to go lobby with Nancy Pelosi in Washington, D.C. for PG&E.
That's wild.
It's just like
Damn.
gross. It's
That's what I'm
so
saying.
It
gross.
really
It's
is.
so
Like
gross.
it's sad in the world that we live in.
I'm sure we're not the only state that
Yeah.
has shit like this.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not at all. So now what did they do? They're out in Hawaii trying to latch onto
Do
the
same
Lahaina
thing.
money.
Yeah,
Wow.
do the
Maui
same thing
fire.
out
It's like,
there.
leave them the
Wow.
fuck alone, man. Like, they are going through what we did.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Wow.
Ugh.
So there was nothing to do with burning the crops down, because that's where I was leading out with these fires. I don't know if you
I
dug
think there's
anything
a
on
lot
that.
of fires happening. That happen
Yeah,
regularly.
but a lot of the cannabis crops got burnt for that. Not so many licensed grows, more of the black market grows in the areas. I don't know. It's weird. So
It's a little sus.
it's a little.
That, and there was a lot of smoke damage to
Yeah.
other crops that did make it.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
Everything smelled like a barbecue.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was so bad. I felt so bad.
There is something with that, though, not the fires per se, but with the water. There's a whole cannabis association out here locally that was feeding me stories. And that is because when we were in a drought, we had a Petaluma Creamery truck that was actually filling from the local hydrants and then going out to grows and delivering that water. And
Okay.
Okay, that's one way to do it.
All right. Hopefully they're putting some pH down in that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Poor plants.
there is a company by the name, it's a strategic advisory company by the name of Big Rock, and they actually are a huge donor for Governor Newsom. And so if you look at their portfolio, they include Plump Jack, which is Newsom's corporation, and then they also include and other cannabis companies. And again, Darius Anderson, who owns the Press Democrat, to circle back to them, I believe it was his brother that was their CEO at one time. Mr. Anderson also owns a lobbying firm by the name of Platinum Advisors, so is one of his clients. And there's a whole circle across the state from the governor's office all the way through Sonoma County and, of course, other local agencies. But that is how they are driving this monopoly. It's coming from the top, and I'm sure even higher up than Newsom.
Wow.
It's so wild.
How
It's
do
like,
you-
how do you have all
How
this
do-
information and not want to freak out?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's so much to absorb.
I try to hide from all that, but I know we need people like you.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I try to
Oh,
keep more of
processing
the
that information, though, is
peace
like,
with myself, not getting so involved.
I used to be one of those people. I wasn't involved at all, honestly, but what happened was the government recruited me to go work for them. That ended badly. I was forced out as a whistleblower.
Wow.
But they shut the gyms down during COVID, and as a bodybuilder, I lost it. And I was like, okay, government, we're going to figure out what you're doing. And as somebody who has a photographic memory and is resilient, I can't, now that I know what I do, there's so many people in need, and there's so much corruption that with the skills that I have, I can't refuse to be involved. I have to be involved.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah. Your gift.
Yes.
Yeah. My gift's to sell weed, so I don't want to.
Hey, I'm a client. Don't mad.
So you like edibles, right?
I do.
Yeah. That's how you consume.
That's how I keep my sanity and don't get arrested.
There you go. Hey.
Yeah, you walk
Thanks
a
to
fine
the
line.
herbs.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of good edibles out there. Emerald Sky, Ohm,
best.
Maya. She's bringing some heat. Those
Yeah.
gummies. You missed
I
that
was
show.
not here for that.
Yeah. So.
You guys didn't even save me one.
Yeah, I gotta try those
I ate
space
all
gummies
them.
though.
No,
Yeah,
you
this
didn't.
guy.
All of them.
You don't like them?
No, I do.
Yeah,
Oh.
No,
they were really good. Have
my
you heard
tolerance is really high, so I just
He's
like, have
usually
to,
like maybe a gummy, and he's 10 gummies.
I'm like 8 gummies plus a few more.
I ate more than one gummy. Not that show.
you,
There, yeah,
you
there
had
was
one.
Sky.
You
Yeah.
had one.
Don't stress him out.
We were doing dabs on their show. Yeah, small dabs, tasteful dabs.
Really? Yeah.
Classy
the
dabs.
Puffco.
Yeah,
We should get one of those Puffcos actually.
we do need to get a
We
Puffco.
need to get a
Like the
Puffco.
Sherlock one?
Whatever
That
Maya
one's
had.
cool. They have a cool Sherlock. Fucking
Yes. Yes to the Sherlock.
Okay.
So edibles. I should have brought some edibles for you.
It's all good. I have plenty.
She's covered.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'm stocked.
I'm off to protest after this. It's always like, I got to be ready to go.
Yeah, what are you
That's
doing after
awesome.
this?
We'll see, because Santa Rosa Police, I have to give them a heads up. I always do when I'm on my way.
They're watching you.
No, they like me.
Oh, they like
so
you,
they're
good.
like the law better than our officers. I was like, I know.
Shit. That's amazing.
Like, I studied this before participating.
Hey, shout out to SRPD though. I got a lot of friends on the force, and yeah, I think they do a great job here.
They do. They came out. The police called on me, man, like 3 times in the past week. But when they came out recently, they were very nice, and they thanked me. Or no, that was the sheriff's. But they did thank me and shook my hand, and they're like, "Thank you for what you do." And
Yeah.
so,
Wow.
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, it validates everything you do. You're like, okay, at least hear me, see me, respect it. It's cool.
definitely.
It is, because I'm not well received by the bulk. I can't say the bulk of the community, just the ones who read that very biased publication of the Press Democrat. They've done several hit piece articles on me. There was a 6-pager.
Page.
The Press Democrat
No
has
shit.
written.
Yeah,
about
you know the creepiest part? They have a whole room about me at their headquarters.
What?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
She's doing something.
My friend got invited to go take a private tour down there, and she's like, "Did you know about your room?" I was like, "What, what room?" They literally have a whole whiteboard they did the mind map of all the people that I've called out for being corrupt. And I offered to explain it to them live, and they're like, "Oh no." They have Peppa Pig in there. I was like, "I'm pretty sure I've never called out Peppa Pig."
Oh my gosh.
Pig
Leave
on it?
Peppa Pig alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a rest. Huh?
Yeah. Maybe Miss Rachel. She's a little sus. Sorry, I got a 1-year-old.
Yeah, you're heavy in Peppa Pig right now.
Not so much. You know.
About to be.
Yeah. 6 pages.
6 pages. That's a lot to invest
That's a lot to
into.
say.
Well, have a
Yeah.
whole room.
It wasn't just me, though. The thing
Okay.
is, no, mostly me. But they had several other
Who
individuals.
were your guests?
Yeah, my guest, my good buddy, Eric Frazier. We are on the ballot this election season against Measure EE and FF in the city of Santa Rosa. They're going to raise our taxes for all business owners. And so taxation is theft in itself. I'm against it. So just letting you guys know, if you have any business owner friends, let them know on EE and FF. But he was in that article with me and several other individuals. But the Press Democrat literally called them to interrogate them about me. And they're like, "How do you know her?"
Oh.
Wild.
Yeah, I would not give them a statement. They asked me if I'd speak to them. So I sent them a quote by Malcolm X and a verse from Scripture.
Solid, dude.
Yes,
Solid.
let's go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I did send them that, and I sent them a verse from scripture. I can't recall what it was, but I am a recently baptized Christian, and so they wouldn't share it. They said that they literally said verbatim, she gave us a verse and a quote from Malcolm X, but wouldn't quote me because it was something about how there's something about white Democrats are not the ones, and
Not my team. Yeah.
not my team.
Wow.
Good for you, though.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Taxation that's just
Scam.
it's a scam, like you said. And going back to them taxing Mendocino to take down the dam to drain their water, that makes no sense.
None of it makes sense, especially when we could build another dam behind the one that's dilapidated. Way less money. We could build a fish ladder. There's a ton of solutions. But our congressman, Jared Huffman, is claiming that this is what the tribes want. I know this isn't what the tribes want because when he formed the ad hoc in 2018 approximately, one of the tribes showed up to participate as stakeholders and he kicked them out of that meeting.
Whoa. See?
So wild.
Showing his true colors right
Yeah.
It's open to the public, so how, right?
That's what they say.
there. It's supposed to be. There's probably a loophole or a gray area. It's always something, bro.
And the tribes actually ended up teaming up together so that they could all be included in those efforts. But what happens too internally, there's a lot of conflict that goes on within the tribe. So just because whoever is speaking as their advocate on their behalf, they may not all agree. And so it's important that all voices are being heard. And that goes with every single group locally. There's a lot of decisions being made on our behalf that we may not be aware of. I don't think that most people are aware.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of what's really going on behind closed doors.
No.
And
They don't want to.
that's how they want it, though. They want
Yeah.
it all hush.
They're gonna tell you the bare minimum.
They do want it all hush. I can tell you, I attended my very first Santa Rosa Community Advisory meeting in July. And I spoke at that one meeting, and half the board quit.
Shit.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
They quit. So I requested records because I was
Yeah.
saying we can request legally under public access laws text messages and emails from our elected officials.
Wow.
So there was
I did not know
actually
that.
a text message between our supervisor Gore and his cousin Steve Rom, who was on community advisory. He said verbatim, Adina Flores is single-handedly dismantling our city.
Single-handedly. Hey, you know
Hey.
what? Touche.
Call
The
them
funny
out.
thing is,
Yeah.
all you're asking for is accountability.
That's what I'm
Right?
saying.
That's
You're
all
not
you're
asking
asking
for a
for.
lot.
That's
So
it.
hard for most
Fact
people.
check. Let's go.
Exactly.
yeah.
Because my whole point was you guys are in charge of community engagement, and that is what I'm trying to accomplish. Is I want to launch a program that is in the works to teach people how to go apply for these grants, how to understand the language, how to get their money, because there's a huge monopoly. And with community advisory, they gave at least a quarter of the grants to themselves, the people that were
Yeah.
sitting
Wow.
on the board.
Again,
Wow.
scamming.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't vote for yourself. What kind of BS is that?
Or your wife, or your friend.
Yeah.
Or your
Yeah.
or your
Come on.
sister-in-law or whoever. Yeah, that's weird.
Fucking going
So
around
much
the
conflict
system.
of interest.
It's that loophole,
Yeah.
man.
It's a huge loophole. They got $2,500 to go indoctrinate Roseland by taking one of the Peanuts, the Woodstock character. They made a sculpture. They put a mask on it. They put a mask on Woodstock.
Oh,
See?
Jesus Christ.
Do you ever
Yeah,
track
yeah.
their stock action,
Follow the money.
like they're trading?
Yes and no. So with their Form 700, the Statement of Economic Interest, they have to disclose their investments, and a lot of them don't disclose anything at all. And so you really have to dig to find information on those representing us. To refer to, like, when vaccinations were going on, we had a councilwoman in Healdsburg named Ariel Kelly, who's up for re-election this year. And, she definitely hates my guts. I got her text messages. I mean, she said I look like a man. She said that I should...
Oh,
That's,
Yeah.
that's because
Hey.
she's feeling threatened.
Yeah.
She's trying to shoot
Yeah.
shots and do whatever she
Adina,
can.
when they
Because she
resort
knows she's guilty.
personal attacks means you won.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts.
Yeah, no, she said that I should be ashamed to call myself a Christian, and I'm full of lies, and she's a humble public servant. But
Okay.
Wild.
mind you, she lives in a $4 million house, and when she was trying to vaccinate or coerce the Latino community where she lives to get vaccinated, she had at least between $100,000 and $1 million investment in Pfizer, fair market value. And that was echoed with J&J and all these different companies.
Damn.
And they are pushing narratives, and that's not just within cannabis, that's within every sector of government. But they're mad because I figured out the pattern.
That's
Yeah.
it's that pattern.
Yep.
Is she
If
still?
you look at
is she
history,
still
man.
serving?
Oh yeah, she's up for re-election. I had to go ruin her campaign.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We should tag her in this.
Right.
No, you should. You should for
Fuck it.
real. The reason I got into it with that woman, honestly, was because when I first got started in activism back in around 2021, they had an amazing young woman. Her name's Skylar Palacios, and she was the youngest ever elected in Healdsburg. And she's Black and Latina. But she didn't want to get vaccinated, so they wouldn't let her inside the council meetings. And so I listened into their meetings. I started to attend those. And there was actually a man that I can't forget because he called in and said, I get people like that were necessary once to fill a quota, but we don't need them anymore. And oh yeah, that,
On record, they said that.
he said that. Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Whoa.
So I didn't know her, but I read her story in the newspaper. So I organized a protest, and we made the news out in Texas. That's how fat it was.
Oh.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
It's wild.
So they let her back inside. They said they were
So they
scared.
did.
Yeah, they
Hell yeah.
moved to Zoom for 3 months.
Go.
Good.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
mean,
changes that need to
yeah.
be made.
They're scared of someone not getting vaccinated. It's do something about it then. But she has the right not to get vaccinated.
Yes,
Yeah.
she had the right. But REL specifically was trying to make that effective because she was getting funding for pushing these narratives. And she actually ran for assembly in March, and I went bad on her. I showed up to one of her events, and then that was all over TikTok. And she didn't make it. Ironically, out of all the Democrats that ran locally, my Republican candidate placed first.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
Can you be on my team?
Yeah.
I need Adina on our team. That's
For
great.
real. Yo, keeping everyone honest. That's
Well,
That's
it's such
amazing.
an
We need
important
people like
thing.
you.
Yeah,
You
nobody
know?
wants to be accountable, truly accountable for their actions. And it's don't
Everybody
do
wants to
corrupt
work-
shit. If you
work
weren't
in the-
doing backwards shit, she wouldn't be
Don't say
after
it.
you.
Exactly.
Exactly. And everyone's trying to distract you with other things and not bring out the main point or the main issue that's really happening. And
They kind of
really
want to
nice
use you and point the finger over here while something's going on over here.
Yep.
And it's just confusion.
There's a name for that.
Confusion and
Always.
control.
Misdirection.
It's been that way for a
Misdirection,
long
yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's why TV was made pretty much.
They just call it something different now.
TV
You know what I mean?
program. You can get weird. You can get
No,
weird
no.
with it. I'm just
we
saying.
go
there's
deep
a-
with it.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a
I
rabbit
mean,
hole. Programming has been going
all the
on
way-
for a long time.
Look at our schools. I'm sorry. I have a 10-year-old, and if I could homeschool him every day, I would. He'd drive me fucking nuts. But I would
Yeah.
because it's fucking whack.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will 100% recommend homeschooling. I'm the
I
so
agree.
former executive assistant to board and superintendent of Santa Rosa schools, where kids get stabbed in class.
Have you ever heard of Kelly Mecca out of Windsor?
I'm not really familiar with Windsor, but my big thing with the schools is it's the same pattern like with the cannabis equity program. So a lot of people have been talking about the violence at Santa Rosa City Schools campuses. And the reason that our violence is out of control is because our school board removed our school resource officers on campus. And that is because they are getting funding for their nonprofits that are partnering with the district for mental health and restorative justice. So they're getting financial kickbacks and don't care about the safety of our kids.
Yeah.
They have a nonprofit by the name of Raíces Collective that shows up to advocate against police on campus. Raíces, their executive director, shares a mortgage with one of the trustees on my school board. And she was actually locked up in 2020. She hit a parked police car while intoxicated. That was her third DUI.
Damn, you've got fucking dirt on everyone.
Damn.
So
That's
much
why.
tea.
That's just.
You didn't see that on the
how-
news.
That's some
Yeah.
good chisme.
Yeah.
My
That's
God.
all that shit that gets
Cheese
swept
man.
under
Cheese-
the
cheese
rug,
man.
though.
Cheers, man.
But like, it all gets swept under the rug. Nobody knows about any of this shit.
Oh, they know now.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
know
now,
that.
huh? Let's go.
That trustee, she is the worst. Oh, but mind you, so Alegria de la Cruz, the trustee that shares a mortgage with her, she was the former equity officer for the county. And she actually, after my article came out about that whole situation with, like, why is this woman who ran into a police car speaking about school safety?
Yeah.
Yeah, she accused me of vandalizing her house. And I was like,
Almost.
girl,
Did you?
no.
You're like, I'm not
kidding.
stooping to your level. I'm just bringing light
Just
to the
calling it where it is.
situation. Yeah.
She's bringing it all to surface.
No, I emailed them and I let the district know. I was like, I'm in Vallejo, California at the time, where somebody drilled a hole into my fuel tank. And so I'm not even mobile at the moment. So no, I did
Damn,
not
they're coming
vandalize.
after you.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
they
Wow.
have been. It's been a
Damn.
crazy journey.
They siphoned you?
I don't know.
No,
I
that
don't
ranges,
know.
that's
Drilling
not
a hole in
siphon.
your tank. That's
Yeah.
worse than siphon, bro.
Yeah,
So what else?
$1,000
What else
later.
have they done coming after you?
Oh, there's a website about me. Yeah, they bought rights to my name. There's 6 different domains. Adina,
Oh my goodness.
AdinaFloresFacts.com, which they have my ex-fiance on there who's black, and they said he's Latino. Like, we're not even together, and we haven't been for a year, so I don't really understand. Like, they really need. I asked them if I can make modifications to.
Yeah.
my
Can I update
Can
your
I
page
give it a better
here?
picture?
Can I manage
You're
it? Let me manage it for you, please.
You're like, let me give you some updated assets.
Yeah, they're crazy though. There's this group called Indivisible Petaluma, and they're like these crazy liberals. I don't even know. I've tried to talk to them in person and they're afraid of me, whatever. I've tried to talk to them because they continue to email multiple government agencies because I announced that I was running for Senate in 2026 because our supervisor, James Gore, is running just because I would want to debate him because he hates me. We ran into each other the other day and he called me a stalker in person. He said his kids are afraid of me. I filmed the whole thing.
Wow.
He's reaching. He's
Yeah.
reaching for
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
he can.
He had a restraining order on my ex, but that's not me. Like, I'm not 6'5". I'm
Damn,
tiny.
6'5".
I'm quiet.
What'd
Like,
your ex do?
Yeah.
oh, he did a lot of things. They actually served us at Butter and Eggs in Petaluma
Oh, no.
during the parade. They
No
sent,
way.
Yeah, they sent a helicopter to look for us. It was crazy. We were out there because
Should I security up? What's going on? It's getting real.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
They're like, we found them. This is where they're at.
One Harvest podcast is gonna be on the news tomorrow.
Yeah, we good?
You might be out. I can't lie.
That's fine.
Oh, that's great.
Speaking of, have you noticed cars waiting outside your house or
Ooh.
anything?
Any?
Nobody knows where I live. They all really want to know. Oh yeah, so that group, Indivisible Petaluma, they've emailed so many local agencies about me. They actually sent to Cloverdale City Council. They said Adina Flores is running for Senate in 2026, and nobody should hire her in your city. Like, she is dangerous. They
In
sent,
your city.
They sent
So
2
creepy.
pages of like things about me, and I was like, wow, apparently I'm autistic, and there's all kinds of things.
They're
I'm
just
abusive to
reaching.
children. Like,
You're like, this is a crazy list. It's just people go through such lengths to be combative and
Yes.
hide their shit.
Make up lies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Just terrible.
it is lies. I've even
Terrible.
offered to speak with them. They said that I had a restraining order, which I did in 2018 for a year because at the time I was going through domestic violence, and so they wouldn't prosecute after my ex was arrested, so I went to go handle it. And it wasn't the best decision. I was like, this is what went down, and I've been very open about it. But aside from that, I am not elected. I'm a private citizen, so the fact that there's whole groups of people buying rights to my name is insane.
It's
That
weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
Celebrity.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
you know?
seriously. Right on. Let's
That's
go.
awesome. Is there anything that like the normal person can contribute to any of this? Like going to a rally or just buying certain goods or not buying certain things.
Attention elsewhere,
How can
yeah.
we contribute?
Just showing up, honestly, because that's the biggest thing is when there's more voices being heard, they can't silence everyone. And going back to that community engagement as far as the grants being monopolized, I am working personally. I'm about to go in and ask for a grant, which they're not happy about. So I told them, oh, you guys want to serve BIPOC individuals? Guess what? I'm bringing all my brown and black and poor white friends to come apply for
You have strength in numbers and stuff like that. So show up, be a part of it, speak your mind.
Let's get real. You have a lot of energy. It's
Yeah.
impressive how much energy you have.
Yeah.
Well, also the energy to care. I
To
don't know.
stay
When you
up
when you
on
To
everything
keep up with like all
is
the
a
corruption,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a lot.
It's
of
impressive.
and then
homework.
to
That's a lot of
dig and
homework
be
to
like,
do.
I want to look into this and find that time to dedicate to digging.
I have
Mad props to you because you're doing a lot of work.
For sure.
A lot.
There's a lot of people that come to me for help. Our elected officials come to me all the time and ask, yo, can you look into this?
Yeah. Dig up them.
Yeah, I get sent in all the time.
do they pay you?
It's hit or miss, usually not, but if it's for
A
It
good
depends
cause.
on
Good
what
cause.
it
If
is.
it's for a good
Damn.
cause, like I'm sure
Yeah.
you're all about it.
mm-hmm.
And you're helping. That's the best part.
Yeah, always. I'm always offering to help. And
So do you have a team, or is it just you or like a few others? You don't have to name anybody. Just curious, just like to spread out the workload.
For sure.
it's pretty much just me. I do all the research. I write my articles on my own. I show up by myself. And I did a lot of outreach, specifically during the pandemic. I think that's when more people were active because they were angry about not getting let into
About
places.
what's going on, yeah.
Yeah, and so at that point, more people were showing up, but now it's like people want to complain to me about everything, and I'll go look into it, and I'll do what I can. I was out at Petaluma Council last week speaking out there, and they'll thank me, and apparently my article's all over Nextdoor right now, so.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh God.
Dude, next door, talk about white Democrats. They're just, they can't believe
Nothing
next
better
door.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that on Manny's show. Yeah, everyone thinks his dispensary is going to be a strip club.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Is it?
No.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just giving you a bad
Yeah,
time.
okay. It's the colors.
It's the colors that
I
made the
guess.
name.
Yeah,
That would be a
Yeah.
good name for a strip club, Sweet Spot.
Sweet spot.
The sweet
Oh,
spot.
man. Get sugar up in there on the pole. Watch out. Sorry.
This ain't Oregon,
So
okay?
funny.
Yeah, definitely not.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, like every exit.
Weird.
Like, how do you guys stay afloat?
They
Anyways.
serve food.
Stop it.
They
Serve-
have to.
ser-
It's
serve
they
food.
legally have to serve food.
Let me get some chicken strips and
A hot dog.
sugar. Lap dance and a cheeseburger. What the fuck?
On the go, please. Thank you.
That's why Oregon's so popular, huh?
Yeah. That and all the drugs are legal there, I guess,
And
now.
probably cheaper.
Yeah.
But your focus,
Probably.
Adina, your focus is mostly like Sonoma County, Bay Area, or do you branch out
I
beyond?
branch out.
She's like, I can't help myself.
Are you national? Do you focus on national stuff?
I worked on Kennedy's campaign briefly for his political action committee, and I get people reaching out to me from all different states, and they're like, thank you for sharing. I was wondering about this. It's always the nonprofits, because the nonprofits get funding at the federal level, and so that's in order to indoctrinate our community and push political narratives. But these same nonprofits, almost identical websites, they're replicated throughout the United States. And so once I'm able to figure out those patterns locally, then what I'm working on right now is how do we replicate this elsewhere?
Okay.
It's inspiring, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you sleep like a lot?
Not a lot.
I was
No.
saying,
No.
like,
Say,
none.
does your
If
mind
you're
turn
Doing
off?
all this?
No,
Like,
it's
yeah.
really hard. I have to be so lit to fall asleep, honestly.
Shout out to the herb.
Yeah.
Yes.
That healing.
Yeah, your brain's probably nonstop.
It is like
Yeah.
I literally I won't go to sleep. I was up. Oh my gosh, yeah, Petaluma Brian Barnacle, white Democrat, was up till midnight the other night writing about him because he got a $9 million contract to basically require us within our homes to use a heat pump by 2027. You can no longer have a furnace. And so he utilized his government position as a councilman to push that forward. And again, that's the only reason that people serve on these local agencies primarily is to push through contracts where they get kickbacks.
A heat pump? What the hell's a heat pump?
It will be,
What the
yeah,
heck is that?
You're
Well-
a farmer and you don't know about a heat
I don't know
pump?
what fucking heat pump is. I don't live up there.
electric. So everything electric. Do you know why? Because the
Oh,
government
okay.
hates us and they want to control
They want
everything.
it's all
Yeah,
about control.
yeah.
They're taking-
Basically,
they're
it always
taking-
has
It's
been.
my time to move
It
to the
always has
woods.
been. Yeah, hey, it's
Fucking
been that
A.
time for a minute.
It's,
Just like that comment I
I know, I
made
get
towards
closer.
cartridges. It's the last show we were talking about how they're taking away the flame and they're putting in batteries. That's control.
Oh.
If you really think about a disposable pin, you don't have to light the joint anymore. So you got no gas, you got no flame. Taking that away, and it's going to power.
Huh. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah, I just outside the box thinking.
No, that's important.
Yeah.
I'm way outside the box.
She's like, I hang out
Well, I'm
outside
glad I-
the
The
box.
box is way over there.
I'm glad I can make you present into my box. Hell yeah.
Man.
Yeah, this has been great. I know that you have a lot going on today, and I appreciate your time. Do you want to give a little shout out to how people can follow you, your Instagram, your TikTok, your million views? Like, you know?
Where do we find the
Yo.
dirt?
Please, yeah.
For sure, yeah. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's civil_right707. I think that's what my TikTok is also. And if you click within my Instagram bio, you can find the link to my Substack, which has these articles with all the things we're talking about, with all the documents. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I link to all documents within my literature. So
Cool.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
I will be looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Right
fun
up
to
my
follow.
alley.
Yeah. She's definitely fun to follow. You're a very interesting human, and I'm very grateful that you showed up today.
Yes,
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you for your
coming
time.
in.
Yeah.
Likewise, you guys kept me very entertained, and I appreciate this conversation.
And we'll see you at Hall of Flowers.
Yes, I will be there hopefully with our candidates. So
There we go.
Amazing.
Let's go.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
One harvest, one love. Peace.